Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's episode of Wisdom and Associates, with me, your host Jemima, we are going to be focusing on the reason as to why some people they engage in certain activities. They create vision boards, they speak affirmations, and then they also engage in manifestation methods and they achieve nothing whatsoever. And please let us not be naive about this thing and say that Christians do not engage in these things. There are Christians, well meaning Christians, who are also mixing one or two of these methodologies in their quiet time as well. Now, I want to give a story as to how that can be possible. And I'm going to give this story from my own personal experience. This is something I did many, many years back. For some of you, back in 2007, maybe you were in diapers at the time. But for me, I was in my mid 20s going into my late 20s. And there was this fascinating topic called the law of attraction. There was this video that was selling out a book. It was a video and a book that was entitled The Secret. Okay. And it had a number of speakers, motivational speakers, and some kind of spiritual gurus that were on that DVD, or they had been part of the authors that now compiled certain things, and they were talking about the law of attraction as one of the many ways of being able to attract good things into your life. Well, there was a place I used to go to rent out DVDs. Somebody where I was working in Barclays at the time, it was in Kenyatta Avenue ICA building. I was working there, and somebody referred me to a DVD rental store that was opposite in Uganda House, I believe. And I would go there, rent the DVDs, and then return them. So one day when I went there, one of the staff working at the DVD rental store happened to have that DVD in their possession, and they suggested it to me, and I was like, okay, let me watch what it is, and then let me see what this hype is all about concerning The Secret, because I was seeing the book was everywhere. My colleagues had it in the office. People were talking about it, so out of curiosity, obviously I rented the DVD to want to know what it was all about. So I rented the DVD, went home, then I watched it, and then I started to get excited about experimenting with what was being suggested. And true enough, I created what I call a vision board. I took certain pictures of perfumes. I took certain cutouts from magazines. Then I pasted them on a certain place in my bedroom wall. Okay. So for I can't remember for how long it was, but those pictures were there for almost maybe a year and over. And I would wake up, and I remember as I would turn, I think it was to my left side of my bed, that was the first thing I would see. I would see those pictures with those leading fragrance perfume brands with their models there. So I think I put maybe around 7 or maybe 8 pictures or something. Then I managed to now put them at a certain place on the wall. And true enough, I would look at it, get excited, get the emotions evoked and all that. And then after some time, I forgot all about them. Then I just carried on with my kawaida routine of doing things during the day. So I left them there. So now I started deactivating from the pictures themselves. Then one day, I was just doing something at home over the weekend. It was just like a normal Saturday afternoon, and for some reason I was doing something on my laptop, and then all of a sudden I just felt this inspiration hit me. It hit me very, very, very like, how can I put it? There was such an impactful feeling. There was something I felt, and I just felt like this download of things to do with perfumes just started now, like streaming down through me. I started like receiving like information to do with perfumes and all that. Then from there I decided to compile a book. It was like a short book. I can't remember how many pages it was, but it was a short, a small book, and I called it Parfait. So I had done my research. I went to the search engines, did everything, compiled everything, and grouped them. I had categories, certain pages in the book. In fact, there's a good friend of mine. We met when we were in Barclays. He used to be a lead generator. I was a compliance officer at the time, so we became friends. So he had left the bank at that time, so he was working, I think, in another company. I think it was maybe Safaricom at the time. So this is many years after now we parted ways and everything. So now the book inspiration was birthed from that. So I called him another time. Then I was explaining to him I've written a book on perfumes, and Lage was so excited. He got so excited. Oh my God, he was like, Jemima, you have just called me at the right time. And, you know, I was trying to ask God, is the right thing to do, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, now that you have called me and you've explained that you've written a book, I will buy the book. So true enough, we met. I gave him the book. Then he paid for it. And then from then on, he started doing he started building his own perfume consultancy. Now, what I'm trying to say is, I did this thing around 2007, 2008. The book manifested in around, I think, 2012. So that is like, give or take, this is like 5 years have lapsed, okay? Me, I'd forgotten about, the pictures were still there, I even forgot about them. But this book became a result of that thing that I engaged in, the vision boards, okay? Now, let me tell you the funny thing about what happened. I invested quite a significant amount of money in those perfume books. I mean, publishing the book, doing the whatever and getting the publisher to do all that work. So I paid a significant amount of money. And I was so excited. I was so excited. I was imagining I'll become this renowned person for some reason to do with perfume. I even called myself a perfume consultant. As in, everything was lined up to the detail, to the T. Okay, I had planned everything. Okay, and I even had a close friend of mine. She was like, "Hey, me, I'm seeing potential in this thing. Ebu, you do something." So I left the banking job that year in 2013. That was now the year after the book was published a year later. Then I thought, anyway, since this is a book on perfumes, surely people will have interest and buy the book. Okay, so I went to the church where I used to go to. I would sell to people to buy the book. The book was cheap. It was like maybe 300 shillings. And it was a small book anyway. And I felt it was a fair price. I'm telling you, my friend, people were not even interested in buying the book. In the office where I used to work, in the branch where I worked, leading to my leaving the bank, I was working in the Silly branch for some time. There's only one person who bought that book in that entire branch. And that person bought the book, and then they started, the other colleagues started to borrow the book and read from that one person. I'm talking about bankers. I'm not talking about working with people who cannot afford a book that is 300 shillings in price. My friends, I'm telling you, this thing called vision boards, I'm telling you from my personal experience, those things, I don't know, I think I just tapped into the wrong thing. Okay, now I've told you about my friend who's now a perfume consultant. He got excited and everything. Then he got into this multi-level marketing. They were also dealing with perfumes. I also got into the same multi-level marketing, and they were doing perfumes, makeups, and I think household goods, like household appliances. So I also got into that. I invested money into that multi-level marketing thing. But my friends, let me tell you something. Let me tell you the funniest thing that happened. Those bottles were, I can say they were not so cheap, but they were fair price. But I remember, even as I would sell them, I would tell people they would last for long and everything, and nothing would happen. I would sell one bottle and I would never get a repeat client after that. I would try to sell the book. The book is cheap, 300 shillings. Hiyo ni pesa nyingi kweli. Haya. I would sell the book to them. Nothing whatsoever. People would never respond whatsoever. I would go around to in town where the perfume refill shops were now coming up back then. And I would express the book and everything to them. Nothing. No one was interested in buying those things. I created a LinkedIn page. I created a perfume Daktari Facebook page. And I think I got maybe 200 interested subscribers into the page, that Facebook page. In fact, there was a lady who responded from that Facebook page, Perfume Daktari. She reached out to me. She bought the book. Then she was able to launch her own. I can't remember. It wasn't perfumes. It was something in line with perfumes, something to do with those fragrances that I think that are used in the home or something, air freshener, something like that. So she created her own line of that, and she was based in Kisumu. I'm telling you, my friend, I remember asking her, please call me, we talk, or write to me to this email, write that this book was the thing that inspired you to create these air fresheners and everything. Haya, unafikiri mama alijibu? Hakujibu. She lingered that story. Ikaenda hivyo. So what happened was I kept doing things, okay? I would reason from my head, because perfumes, that is exciting. Who doesn't like perfumes, right? I mean, the percentage of people who don't like perfumes maybe is less than 5%, which is very little. So anyway, I would do, yes, as I said, I joined this multi-level marketing company, FM. They were selling the perfumes. I would sell those bottles. I would sell once. There was no repeat customer. The book, I would express, I'm selling the book. I'm doing perfume consultancy. Nothing. No one responded. So at the end of the day, I had a vision board. I had the perfumes. I created a perfume book. I joined a multi-level marketing company. I did everything I possibly could. I even wanted to launch a perfume school. The money dried up. There was nothing. There was no money coming. There was no support. Nothing came whatsoever. Nothing happened. Nothing materialized beyond the book and me selling those rebranded FM perfume bottles, because they were trying to kind of make a copy of the designer fragrances. Okay, so me, I tried. My designer friend of mine, we were in the same high school together. She also got wind of what I was doing, and she tried to introduce me to her into her office. There were days they would have those days to sell things there, and when I would put those things on display, I think I just got people who were interested in sampling the perfume smells, and there was nothing that materialized beyond that. Maybe just one person bought the bottle, only one person, and even when the person bought them, they didn't there was no repeat sale after that. Okay, so I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say. I have nothing against vision boards whatsoever. What I'm trying to say is, me, I did what I knew to do. I experimented. I did those things I was told to do. Things manifested, but I ended up throwing in money that nikiangalia sahi hiyo pesa, I just think, hey, wacha tu. I have not gotten any significant returns on the investment that I made starting from a vision board. Okay, so that is why I'm talking about these things with such passion. Okay, please understand where my heart is coming from. I have nothing against manifestation. I'm simply saying, who are you in a relationship with? So that as you now begin to manifest, now these things begin to now pan out for the long haul. Okay, see, you pan out something, you birth, then it only lasts for maybe less than a year, then the thing dies completely. Okay, so kwa hayo machache, until next time, bye.